Well, Mecha Grunty, it looks like we're about to be able to face off against with you for the final time throughout the majority of this game, and hopefully we're able to actually restore peace of the entire, well, let's just say the forms of present day or something like that. So, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and welcome back for yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos as always. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advance. So, last time, we have essentially managed able to 100% through everything in not only Freezing Furnace, in this case the longest damn worlds in the whole entire game, and also say applies to the fact that this is one of the hardest worlds in the game, and on top of all that stuff though, we did manage able to collect our final Jiggy during the course of Bad Magic Bayou. So in this case though, we are basically completed every single world in the game. So because of that though, yeah, I think we're basically all settled when it comes to Jiggies collecting. So today, this will be the finale in terms of the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. And because of that though, we're going to be hit on to the final boss in the whole entire game. So as a result though, we can able to actually kick the likes out of the forms of Gruntilda's butt yet again. So, the fact of the matter is though, this time around though, is the fact that in order to able to get up there, is the fact that, as you probably already noticed ever since and during the course of Tuesday, because as a result though, we do need to able to actually utilize the snow eggs, or ice eggs, if to be more specific, if you're trying to able to not only get rid of those fire, but also just trying to able to shoot that particular, ice egg into that specific hole there, and that will activate the shock jump. And that way you can able to actually just get up there if you manage to able to actually just to decide to realize that, well, you probably already know what to expect. So, and because if you couldn't tell already, I did manage able to pick up some health pickups before we start the fight. So as a result though, yeah, let's dive right into Gruntilda's lair. So, thank you, Klongo. That's fantastic. To stop the bear, my plans are drastic. If this won't work, you know what to do, 'cause I'll be counting on plan 2. Okay, so basically we need to able to take care of the forms of... I would classify for saying that, although I've no idea why I say that twice, by the way. Is the fact that this might actually be one of the hardest aspects about this game, and that is the fact that we ended up against the final boss of the game. Although, not only do we have to able to actually fight against with Mecha Gruntilda again, but also we must able to come across into ourselves with the forms of Klongo in the future. So as a result though, that's there's going to be 3 exact bosses during the course of this one particular level alone. So as a result though, I will consider that this will actually be the hardest portion of the game. Although to be fair, this is the grand finale, so as a result though, things doesn't usually just manage able to, get the actual drastic measures and all that stuff though. But anyway, so yeah, this boss, it's pretty much exactly the same as the forms of the other counterparts, except now that she now actually got double the amount of health. Or to be more specifically, so much health that she now actually got. Because normally we're supposed to be able to actually hit her for about 3 times consecutively from what I've remembered, even though despite the fact that it has been about a couple of hours since I actually did manage to able to actually research back into this game, especially noticeable after the events of 2 days ago, that was actually the last time I played this game. So yeah, forgive me if I managed able to get the fake memories when it comes to the forms of the actual health hit points for certain bosses for that matter. So of course you still need to able to do a bit of a roll attack against with the forms of Gruntilda right here, or to be more specifically Mecha, Gruntilda and stuff like that, or Mecha Grunty as far as I like to able to point things out. So I digress. Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning is the fact that, unfortunately, for the sake of the forms of this particular capture footage, there were a few times, though, that my game decided to able to lag all of a sudden. So, in this case, though, we're most able to cope with it, I'm afraid. So, as a result, though, there might be some sound slowdowns here and there. So, there goes the first fight. Don't think you've beaten me so quick. I've got a plan. I'm not so thick. Okay, so it looks like she's about to be launching upwards, and also we've managed able to come across into the shock jump pad, And from here though, much like the forms of how it does it on Banjo-Kazooie, including Banjo-Tooie, we must be sure we need to come across into those quiz challenges, and if the more you're able to do them correctly, then you would able to progress. I think this time around though, there's only 2 of these things, so where's this? Oh, this is pretty simple. It's actually by the forms of Quarry Heights, is it? Yep, that's perfect. And where would you see this? Bad Magic Bayou, because, well, that was the only world that features that enemy. Drat, I'll see you at the next fight. It seems you got the answer right. And then from here, we instantly managed to get to this next fight against with Klongo again. Hor 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 hor. So, Baron Bird, think they can beat Mr. Klongo, make sure they get a chance to find out. Although I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit iffy at this point. Although, to be fair, this is the finale portion of the game, so to be expected by this point. And also, this is by far the shortest video we've ever done. Most notably because of the forms of how the fact this is the finale, of course. So, of course, that the entire fight plays exactly like the forms of how it does it from not once, but 3 times from earlier ago. But this is now the 4th time trying to fight against with Klongo, and he's also pathetically easy. Although the only difference is this time around though is the fact that he now summons these ghosts. So as a result though, to get rid of these ghosts is the fact that you have to utilize one of your eggs, so that way it can easily manage able to take them down, specifically the fire eggs most likely. I know there's technically by the forms of another method you can do with these eggs, in order able to actually deal with these ghosts and get rid of them. Not what appears to be like an ice eggs or something like that, but either way though, it knows what it is. So anyways, let's go ahead and hit him again, and there he goes. Klongo must stop Baron Bird. There, here, Mrs. Grunty calling. Well, you've lost Klongo for the 4th time, and we got actually access to another quiz to do, except now we need to face off against with the forms of quite a lot of questions right here. Where's this? Oh, this is easy. This is gonna be Bad Magic Bayou, because I've recognized that particular environment. That is transformations, because I can definitely tell from that sound. Jinjo! Can you beat this game? Oh yeah, much like the forms of how it does it on Banjo-Kazooie sometimes, is the fact that sometimes we're more able to actually go into this particular game challenge before you progress. So in this case though, luckily we've got ourselves the easiest one of the bunch, and that's what appears to be this particular catching all these worms and stuff like that, which is self-explanatory, but then again you have to watch out for those spikes, because obviously if you dare touch those spikes, you will able to get yourselves a bit of a stunt. So, but luckily I did manage to do this on the first try. So, where is this? I know it's definitely somewhere in Spiral Mountain, but is it? Ah, I got that wrong. I keep thinking about something else. Where would I hear this? Oh, that would be let's just say Grunty Industries. This quiz is great. It built my power. It's time to see you on the tower. And here we go folks, on to the final boss for reals. So the time has come to end this game. The future cannot be the same. To your destruction, you both race of bear and bird. I'll leave no trace. My victory will be most splendid when I rule all, and your lives ended. Now, and unlike in any other fights throughout the game, that normally we're supposed to be able to actually hit certain bosses for a certain amount of times, whilst in this particular final boss as this is concerned, basically we now need to hit her for about 12 times. So yeah, and also keep that in mind is the fact that you don't want to able to actually get hit multiple times on this fight, because, well, unfortunately though, if you get a game over on this particular fight, basically though, you're able to actually get kicked out, and you're able to actually go all the way back to the very beginning of the final frontier. So as a result though, yeah, do not get game over on this fight, because if you do, you have to restart the entire fight all over again. You don't even get me started until when it gets to the point until on the true final boss of the game, against with Mecha Grunty right here, because gotta think about it, the actual battle arena itself kind of feels like kind of similar to the likes of Banjo-Tooie, almost, and the same applies to the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, except the fact that there's no Jinjo-Nader from the first game, as well as the forms of the Hang 01 from the likes of the forms of that specific drill tank from Banjo-Tooie. So instead, all we have to do is basically we need able to, in addition to able to hit Mecha Grunty, but also every once in a while though, if you try to hit her, and as you can see, there was actually a ghost of her. So basically, her weak spot was actually now the ghost, which sometimes she actually just managed able to pop out of the actual mechanism body, whilst most of the time though, she just loves to run away, and then as a result though, she'll probably get back inside, so... But overall, relatively speaking, I think this boss fight might actually be also kind of easy, but the only thing is makes things a bit harder than the forms of how it does it on any other fights against with the forms of not only Klungo, but also with Gruntilda as well, to be more specifically with Mecha Grunty and stuff like that. So because of that though, there's going to be a very annoying attack, such as for instance with the forms of the homing magic spell that she will able to actually just to cast onto me, so a few things I want to explain while this is going on is the fact that today's day is of course the 28th today, in this case in 2022 today, so it looks like we are definitely getting close to the point where we've almost at the August month, so yeah, it feels like time does fly, doesn't it? And also on top of all that stuff though, let's talk about the forms of certain films that did manage to able to came out for about a decade old. To be more specifically, let's get to it with the forms of, let's just say, Step Up Revolution. So yeah, that's something I guess, and as well as The Watch, as well as the forms of Killer Joe, and lastly, Searching for Sugar Man. So I definitely heard about those films, but I've never actually seen it for myself. That's mainly because, although I'll explain more about it, although you've smashed my mecha suit, don't think you're giving me the boot. Now I've trapped you on my tower. I will crush you with my ghostly power. So yeah, after you're done with the forms of that particular mecha suit form, basically all you have to do is basically keep rolling into her as in a ghost form, and she's done. Ah, this can't be. My plan's a ruin. It's all Banjo and Kazooie's doing. Well, there she goes. Just managed able to fly around all of a sudden after her defeat. And I get the feeling that she might able to actually just to go all the way back to the exact same spot from the likes of the forms of the original game for the boulder and stuff like that. I'm guessing so anyway. Well, Kazooie, it looks like we managed to foil Grunty's plans just in time. Now that she's defeated, we can finally get Mumbo to send us home. We should have hang around you never know what Gruntilda's planning next. So we'll head back in here for a while, and meanwhile back in the forms of Spiral Mountain. So it looks like that, you know, Gruntilda's now stuck in here. Why are my henchmen fools and twits? That Mecha Grunty just fell to bits. Klungo, get here now. Be quick. This defeat makes me feel sick. Yep, here comes Klungo here. Listen, Klungo, save your shoulder. You'll never shift this massive boulder. If you insist on getting blisters, first send a message to my sisters. which that would be the case before Banjo-Tooie rolled around during the course of the actual story timeline. So, because of how the fact that the Grunty's sisters were able to actually shows up. So, Bear and Bird did pretty good job, but would have never done it without help from Mumbo. Bongo, luckily, Gruntilda stuck under rock, which can't beat. Henchman with mecha scraps. Well, I guess it's a matter of time that we've now able to actually just to go back into, well, present day. Because I'm very sure that Gruntilda is now recently defeated. So yeah, there were a few times though that my game decides to lag at points, so I do apologize for that. So regardless of such though, I don't mind about the lag too much because we've essentially finished the main game, so pretty swell I have to say. Banjo, the Jinjos are free at last. We'll spread the news that Grunty's gone and we can reclaim our homeland. Thank you, Bear and Bird. Whee! Oh, hi there, Banjo-Kazooie. Thanks. To you, the past is as it should be. Nothing has changed and the future looks bright. Shame all these has had no effect on Mumbo. Speaking of Mumbo, I've got to run. Bye. Oh, speaking of Mumbo Jumbo, there he is right here. I wonder what they're planning to, I wonder. Wee! Well, there goes the rest of those Jinjos right here. Ah, home at last. What do you say, Kazooie? You'll shuffle the cards. While I call for bottles and the others, we might even finish a game. This time. Well, let's just hope that will be the case. So, meanwhile, back in Mumbo's pad, Mumbo finally gets chance to learn Bee Dance, maybe Honey Bee C. Mumbo's special transformation. Sometime. And I'm guessing that's pretty much the end in terms of Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advance. And as you can tell, if you manage to beat the final boss and you able to actually ended up in this screen, which actually shows us that we actually got an excellent ranking. And so far, we actually got 4 Jiggies out of 5 Jiggy ranks, which means in order to able to get the highest rank in terms of the forms of this entire game, I'm pretty sure I need to beat the game in the fastest time if possible, at least if I recall correctly, so... But at the very least I did ourselves a pretty good run here. At the very least it's kind of optional when it comes to likely trying to get... well, unless if you're able to try to go for this entire completionist, I guess, but... Anyways, let's give my final thoughts, although before we get into more of that, in this credit sequence right there, basically all you're really doing is just collecting tokens, and then you can able to use it on, just try to able to play on the arcade machine, if you manage to able to go back into Spiller's Harper, if you manage to able to go for that particular method. So I felt it worth mentioning for the sake of the forms of what really happens if you played those specific credits sliding segments like this. So anyways, let's get my final thoughts of Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advance. Personally speaking, I think this game is good, although it does have some questionable design choices compared to the forms of those 2 amazing games on the Nintendo 64. Well, let's get to the positives first. First of all, I feel like the gameplay style, while it's very similar to the previous games, but with a different perspective, but I will say, it does feels a bit satisfying if you do manage to accomplish certain things like this. And on top of all that stuff though, the visuals, well, look a bit weird at first, especially noticeable this is on the Game Boy Advance, but I think I'm slowly but surely that I feel like that this game does manage to age up a bit slightly. And on top of all that stuff though, I think the music is alright too. And as far as controls are concerned, they're fine for the most part. So, the only negative things I can think about this game is just the fact that, well, like I said, the depth perception just managed able to ruin my footing when it comes to likely trying to scale through things, and especially noticeable in worst case scenario being freezing furnace world. So because of that though, that might be something worth noting for. So I suppose that's pretty much about it when it comes to the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advance. I think you should probably still recommend it, especially noticeable if you're a die-hard Banjo and Kazooie fan. Although, to be fair though, like I said though, this game never saw the light of day on the Wii U Virtual Console re-release, because the only way you can play this game is either getting the original cartridge version, or simply trying to able to actually access to the emulator, and that's really all there is to it. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed this game, despite I did manage able to get confused and lost in certain places, but regardless of such though, I do enjoy it as it is. So but yeah, as far as the next Banjo-Kazooie game, as far as this is concerned, when it comes to doing Let's Plays department, I don't know if it's going to be a tough choice in between those last two games in something related to Banjo and Kazooie. That involves around something more accurately like racing, called Banjo Pilot for the Game Boy Advance, or the atrocious reboot, which is Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Balls. Let me know in the comments, because even then though, I would like to hear those specific stuff. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching of our Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. This is me, Tiana, from the likes of the Maxi Toys. And until then, let's go and slide all the way down. Whee! And I'm out.